that? Yeah, so it's very nice to be able to be here with you guys. This is an impressive group of people, and it's always a pleasure to get to interact with people like you. So I thought I would start off by just talking about the relationship between economics and the environment and sustainability. And the first question I have actually is, how many economists in this class? English is an economist. Who else? So there's no economists. How about social scientists? Are you in sort of? All of us are sort of. That's good. Social scientists or economists? I have one, and you?
I have some background.
Very good. Okay, that's good. So we have 3 out of 3. That's impressive. So then the challenge is actually how to talk together, right? And fortunately, I've done a lot of teaching and talking to interdisciplinary groups, so hopefully it will work out. And the next thing is economics. What is that? When I say economics, what comes to your mind? That's why I have this whiteboard. Sometimes it's interesting to hear what people are doing. It's economics. What is that?
Money.
Money. Yeah. So because I'm an economist, I'm also money. You would think, okay, any more keywords? What comes to your mind?
Trade.
Yeah?
Trade. Trading. Buying and selling. Trade.
Oh gosh, is it Australian? Trade. All right, any more?
Financial crash.
Financial, what is it? Crash? Crash. Oh my dear. That's scary, but actually, yeah, that's a good one. Benefits. So benefits. Whatever you like. Benefits.
Utility.
Eh?
Utility.
Of course. No utility, no economics. Yeah.
Wrong forecast.
What is it? I don't know what is happening. The planes are taking my ears away. It seems.
Said wrong forecast.
Wrong
Focus.
Wrong forecast. I have a nice one. You know? Forecast. Who can spell that for me? R-E? Yeah. How do I know? You cannot see, okay, let's try blue or black. Let's see. Wrong focus. So let's see. Let's do a test here with you. Can you see that?
Much better.
Much better, okay. You know, this I have a joke about this. We say that economists are those professionals who use 20% of their time to make predictions and 80% of their time to explain why their predictions didn't come true. So that is a good one. But mind you, this is not just about economists, it's about all scientists, all of you. So yeah, predictions. And both processes are important, actually. Explaining why your predictions didn't come through is useful. That's how we make progress, I think. All right, so there's a lot here you would, that comes to your mind when you hear about economics. Well, I asked this in one of my graduate classes, and what did this guy say? Somebody said, there are thieves who enter your pocket. There are thieves who enter your pocket and take your money. Somebody actually said that. So there's a lot of things that come when you hear the word economics. Now, but in general, you can divide economics into various groupings. You know, one of the key ways we look at economics is we look at macroeconomics. That's the big aggregate variables that you hear about: inflation, right, unemployment, interest rates, and things like that, these big ones. And then you have microeconomics, which is essentially the economics of the household, the individual, the firm. So you go down and look at this at a much smaller scale. So that's micro. If you're Norwegian, you say micro, right? So, and the macro are the big ones. So most of environmental economics and fisheries economics is about micro, right? You look at how fishing companies operate and things like households and so on. So that's a big classification of economics. I'll tell you more So an economist can be a macroeconomist or a microeconomist. And then there are various splits of this. You have fisheries economists, of course, you have environmental, you have financial, the clash people, and so on. So there are many things happening. Environmental and resource economics, that's where I belong, and many of us dealing with the environment belong. And there's a lot of history here about how this branch of economics came about. In the late 70s, early 80s, a group of American economists didn't like what was happening in the larger profession. They thought the environment wasn't given enough attention. So they broke away in protest to start the American Association of Fisheries Economics. No, not fisheries, environmental and resource economics, and then started putting the environment more into economics. So that's that. Then later, in the late 80s and 90s, another group of economists, actually mainly scientists who pushed it, said that the environmental economists are not giving enough attention to the environment. So they broke away and formed ecological economics, right? Costanza and Co. And that's another one. And then you have as fisheries economists as part of this, just to give you a general kind of outline. Then, like every group, there's another classification I thought would be important to share with you, what I call the public economist. Then you have firm or business economist, if you like. So the public economist is somebody who looks at benefits, net benefits, social benefits to the society, to a group of people. Right? So if I'm an economist for this group, I'll be looking at how do we structure this class so the whole group as a whole will get the most benefit, net benefit out of this class. Right? That's a public economist for this. This is the public. You can look at it at the national level, regional level, global level, right? The firm economists, they are in the businesses. All they do is to try to get their companies to make as much profit as possible. So business economists or firm economists. And somebody like me, I see myself more as a public economist. So when I analyze fisheries, I'm not just looking at what the fishing companies will make. I look at that, but I look at all the other things that go around and say, how do the society, the country benefit from its fisheries, rather than just the businesses. They are part of it, and they're not all of it. So that is a classification that would be good to share. Okay. Now, what are my goals for this? And you have your goals for this lecture, this particular one, and how it relates. These are the goals I set up for this particular lecture. I'm hoping that by the time we finish, you will understand the role of economics in helping us achieve sustainability. Because really, environmental and resource economists were looking at the resource and say, how can we, if it's a renewable resource, how can we sustainably take this resource through time? So sustainability is very important. But if it is not renewable, if it is gold or diamond, do you know how economists describe the analysis of that? The analysis of depletion. So you are analyzing how best to deplete the non-renewable, right? If you have oil, what's the best way to deplete? Depletion is a given, right? It's how you do it, how best you do it. But we are in fisheries, so it's more about sustainability. Second point, I hope you will have a reasonable knowledge of the economic approach to the analysis of fisheries resource use and sustainability. How do we approach this? You know, there are different approaches, right? If you ask a sociologist, they will tell you how to deal with this, anthropologists, biologists. How do economists think about these issues? Demonstrate how crucial the link between ecology, economics, and policy is. The main point, and I think for your group here, it's important to know that you cannot just look at ecology alone if you're interested in sustainability. You have to look at the economics, you have to look at the policy. In fact, you have to look at the social science. The interaction between these things are important. And I hope to share some examples with you. I hope that some of you will choose to jump away from what you're doing and become economists after this lecture. Yeah, just 2, 3, 1%, I'll be happy. Just decide to switch over. That is the goal. All right, let's get going. Any questions or things you want to say at this point? I really like interactive classes because key concept in resource economics and sustainability. And I think this is really, really fundamental. The difference between what is socially good for you and what is privately good for a person. Right? So there is a private individual. I'm a private individual, and I'm also part of this group, if you think of this group as a society here. So in economics, the challenge is dealing with private interests or benefits, things that come to me directly and things that come to us as a group. This is crucial. And you see, most of our environmental problems is actually because there is a gap between these two things. What is good for me is not necessarily good for the group. Unlike what you said, right? The invisible gun. In the case of environment, it's not, there's a gap, and that's the problem. Because I can reap benefits while the rest of us are suffering the pain. Think of it, driving to work and come on CO2 emissions. You wake up in the morning, you want to get to work, get into your car, you drive to school, and that is a huge benefit to you get to work, right? And your salary. Then once you're doing that, you're pumping CO2, right, for the rest of society. You also get affected, but the cost to you as an individual is small compared to the benefit to you, right? So you see there's a gap. That is a crucial point. And you see it all over. Overfishing is the same thing. Have a pool of fish here. You fish, I fish, you fish. If I take a lot, I can make a lot of money, but tomorrow we will all suffer. Hey, but the gain I make is much higher than the suffering I personally will get. But if you take the cumulative gain, it's actually higher than my benefit, right? But I prefer that because I put it in my pocket and as a deforestation would be a similar example. So this is fundamental. If you understand this, you understand where the problem is and where we can start to look for solutions. This is my favorite model of the economy, ecology, and environment. This is the best model to me. If you get hold of this model, then you really will get away from many of the discussions you hear as if, like some of my economists, they think we can solve our environmental problems through technology. If you understand this model, you know that this is BS actually. There's no how you can just escape the environment, no matter how sophisticated your economy is. And what this thing tells you here, you have that arrow going into that economy. This is all the things we take from the environment into the economy. Fish, oil, water, whatever you take. So this is the natural resources going into the economy. And I tell you, every economy needs this. There's no how. People tell me that Singapore doesn't have resources and they're doing well. You know why? Because they can buy it from somewhere else. There's just no poor about it. You have to feed your economy with resources. And then the big part, after you've taken in these resources, what do? We do all the things we do with it. We create waste. What do? We pump the waste into the environment again. So the economy begins with the environment and ends with the environment. Every economy, US, Guinea-Bissau, Bangladesh, the same principle. Different degrees, but who cares about degrees, right? This is the beauty of science. You don't care about degrees. The concept is comprehensive. This I like a lot. So there was a time ago I gave a lecture about sustainability, and somebody came to me and said, why do you care about sustainable fisheries, wild fisheries? We can farm all the fish we need in one high-rise building in Holland. In Holland. And I was surprised. I didn't know anything about Holland farming and so on. At the time, so I did investigation. The reason the person said that actually in Holland they do a lot of house laundry in high-rise buildings. They grow pigs, farms. But that doesn't mean you escape from this thing, right? Because a high-rise building, even if this was true, you would have to build a high-rise building with natural resources. And the high-rise building will not make the fish for you. You have to put inputs in there. Fish meal, whatever, water has to go in there. You do your fishing, you eat it, and what do you create? Waste. That also has to come out of that